This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Well, good day, everybody, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. Today is Monday, October the 3rd, 2022. We're so glad you could join us. Coming up in today's show, I'll talk with Iowa Agriculture Secretary Mike Naig about harvest progress and how things are looking here in the state of Iowa. We'll also take a look at that ag weather forecast. But first, let's run down those markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Well, we're at the end of another trading day, and we turn to Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. Tyler, what did we see to kick off this week?
A lot of back and forth trading today across all the grain markets. You could say all of them traded in a range of on corn, we saw up a dime to down a dime about. So kind of movements on both sides of the market. Saw the same thing on beans. We saw some softness early, picked up some strength as we went through the day, and wheat, wheat being wheat, it'll trade up 10, 15 cents. And before you know it, it's down 10 to 15 cents on the day. You end up with December corn closing at 6.80 3/4, which is down 3 1/4 cents. You had November beans at 13.75 1/4 is where they closed. That was up 10 1/2 cents. And Chicago December wheat closed at 9.12 1/4, down 9 1/4 cents.
So what was it that was kind of lending to that topsy-turvy trade we saw today?
The plus side for all the grains as far as news today was export inspections started to pick up a little bit. Got the export inspections number out mid-morning. Corn came in at 661,658 metric tons, which is up a little over 100,000 metric tons from last week, but also down considerably from a year ago, down about 280,000 metric tons. There was a flash sale report. We did sell 110,000 metric tons to unknown. So if you can figure out where that is, probably China. And then the export inspections, again, were much better than last week. But again, on the soybean front, down from a year ago. So I think that's where the strength ended up, pushing both corn and beans to the upside on the day. On wheat, the biggest, I think there was some going into the weekend, there was some risk premium added in based on the Russia-Ukraine tensions, thinking maybe something significant would happen over the weekend. I wouldn't say nothing happened, but just no major market movers to come out of that region.
All right, and of course now we've got our own issues with the Mississippi River being pretty low, heading down to those Gulf ports. What's the situation for trying to getting crops down there, especially with harvest going on?
That's playing an issue. It's playing an issue on basis levels. Your river terminals, the basis has gotten pretty poor. The one thing, if you do some reading, if you look online, you go on Twitter, you're going to see a lot of stuff about. I've even read some stuff where the river shut down. That's not true. They're cutting back drafts, so they're not able to haul as many bushels as they normally would. And the barge tow width has been reduced as well. The result of that is the beans have still got to get, or corn, and the grain's still got to get to the Gulf somehow. It's just gotten more expensive to do it via barge. They're looking at how to move that via rail. The impact for producers is probably likely to see weakening basis for the near term. But that grain's just not going to not get sold. It's got to get down there. They'll find a way to get it moved. It'll make a backlog possibly. And one of the things that we've been saying with Ag Market and JSA is you'll likely see possibly an acute weakening of basis. A fairly significant weakening of basis in the short term. And as soon as the issue is resolved, you'll see a very acute strengthening of basis. So moving back up. So it'll be big moves. It'll be eye-opening. But just because that river is low doesn't mean the grain just stops flowing. It just takes a little time for people to figure out how to get it to move. But, we're humans are pretty ingenious. We'll figure out a way to get it where it needs to go.
That we are. And Tyler, turning to the livestock side of things, cattle and hogs, what did we see today in the trade?
I wouldn't say there was no news, but cattle and hogs have really been trading the macro, and the macro economy saw some bright spots. The Dow futures are up 800 points as we speak. S&P is up 100 points right at the moment. You've got the dollar softening some, so that led to some strength on the cattle side. We do know that the Packers are probably, as far as fat cattle side, Packers are probably going to start laying back on kill numbers. They're sitting pretty current, and they don't need to be pushing the issue, especially at pushing $150 fat cattle prices. I don't see just a lot of room to the upside, but I think demand is there, and they're going to continue to buy the cattle. So I wouldn't be surprised if we just kind of sit in this range, especially on the fat cattle. And if we're doing that, it's going to make it difficult on the feeder calf side, unless we see some significant rainfall that occurs in the southern plains to try to encourage some of those producers to keep back some cows, hold back some heifers. And then now we've also got to start looking at, they're still dry. They're struggling getting their winter wheat put in the ground. And so we got to look at what kind of effect that'll have on backgrounding calves on winter wheat pasture.
All right. Well, a lot of things for us to be thinking about. If folks want to make a marketing plan with agmarket.net, what's the best way for them to do that?
We always say check out our website, agmarket.net. We've got all of our contact information there. If you want to reach out to me directly, give me a call at 701-987-6009.
All right, Tyler. Well, thanks so much. Look forward to talking to you again real soon.
You bet. Thanks you, Dustin.
That again was Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. Let's go ahead and run down those closing numbers, courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart.
December corn was up 3 1/4 at 680 3/4. March up 3 1/2 at 687 1/2. November beans up 9 1/4 at 1374 even. January up 8 1/2 at 1384. Soy meal up $2.30 at 405.30. Soy oil up $1.78 at 63.34. Chicago wheat down 9 1/2 at 912 even. Minneapolis wheat was down 2 at 980 even. Kansas wheat down 2 3/4 at 988 3/4. March oats up 10 3/4 at 404 1/2. December live cattle 97 cents higher at 148.02. October feeders up $1.35 at 175.52. Lean hogs down 45 cents at 88.77. Pork cutouts down 30 cents at $98. Class 3 milk up 50 cents at 22.25.
And that's been a check of our ag market recap. We're going to take a short break and hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, we'll talk with Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to AMPM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. Well, I had the chance to talk about a week and a half ago with Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig, and we talked about many topics, one being the harvest that's going on right now in Iowa. We talked about where things are and what we're hoping to see, and also talking a little bit about safety. Here's what he had to say. Now, moving on to the bigger topic as we're looking at late September, and that's obviously the harvest. We know some combines are already moving. We know there's been silage chopped in some of the harder hit areas by the drought. But, we also saw a few tours come through and say maybe things may not be as bad as we thought. A testament to both the hybrids and the fact that maybe because we got in a little later, we may have bought ourselves some time.
Boy, you're going to have just a little bit of everything across the state, it seems like. We've certainly got parts of the state that have been impacted by drought, whether it's the tonnage coming off in terms of silage. Certainly, we think yields will be affected, especially in western Iowa, Sioux City north. And then of late, southern Iowa, especially southeast Iowa, has been hard hit and maybe the driest part of the state. So pastures, grass, but also their crops have been impacted. However, I think as you look across the state of Iowa, again, we're going to be, I'm expecting good yields, honestly, generally. We're going to have pockets that are impacted, but I think we're going to see stronger yields than maybe folks expected. And that's just coming from what I'm hearing from people as they get out. And on that front, we've still got some places that are green or just turning, and because they had some late rains, and that's good news. So I think it's going to be a rolling start to harvest. You're going to have people kind of getting out where they can. But generally starting to hear folks really getting interested in getting out and getting going. And then again, we're seeing kind of all over the place in terms of yield results. But I'm optimistic about the whole picture across the state of Iowa this year.
I have to commend you. You're obviously a farmer first, because, you said you're hearing things, but you won't say exact numbers, and no farmer ever will say exact numbers. I've always said it's easier to get Chinese nuclear secrets than it is to get a yield estimate from a farmer.
Well, right. That is right up until you're rolling in the field and you see that yield monitor pop up, and boy, you're going to take a picture of that real quick and you might send that to somebody. But no, you're right. And actually, it's been that way with moisture too. I've been kind of kidding throughout that folks in Northeast Iowa in particular, you ask, how are things looking? They'll say, fine. I don't want to talk about it anymore. They don't want to jinx it, but right. I'll get little pieces here and there of how folks are looking. But first and foremost, folks, please stay safe out there, both in the field, but also anybody working around our farmers, seeing them on roads. They're working long hours, and just keep that safety in mind.
That's exactly a good point. I've said this many times, even pace yourself. There's always that hurry. You want to hurry up and get done. But, I think family would rather have you home than that extra 1,000 bushels tonight. It'll be there tomorrow.
That's so true. And I just think that's something we all have to think about. We get going. We're looking at the weather forecast. We're looking at the calendar. All those things, all those pressures are very real. But you've got to keep safety top of mind, and it's it takes just one slip or just 1 minute where you aren't thinking about that, where things tragically can happen. So that's the way I ask. But then again, I say too, that's on the farm. But boy, people are going to encounter lots of farm equipment on roads, and I always say, remember, they can't always see you as well as you can see them. So just always keep that in mind.
Once again, that was Iowa Agriculture Secretary Mike Naig. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ag weather outlook. Well, with sunny skies across the state here today, we had some beautiful weather here in Des Moines. A little bit to the warm side for the beginning of October, but still low 70s, upper 70s in that ballpark. We'll take it. It's not too terribly bad. Also definitely means a longer fall for getting some of those crops that aren't quite ready there, and also keeping the fields looking good here for harvest. Let's take a look at what the next 24 hours could look like from the National Weather Service.
Well, as we said just before, it was sunny skies today across much of the state. A little bit warm for the third day of October, but still not terribly bad when you're looking at highs in the low 70s to about 80. Now tonight we're going to see clouds start to roll in. More clouds to the northwest than you'll see maybe towards the east, where they might be seeing mostly clear skies. But we'll see lows, low 40s to low 50s. Tomorrow, partly sunny skies and continued warmer. We'll see highs anywhere from the mid to upper 70s. Looking at the affiliate weather map, we see Cherokee will be partly sunny tomorrow and 74, possibly an isolated shower. Shenandoah tomorrow will be partly sunny and 80. Des Moines partly sunny, 78. Waterloo and Albia both looking at sunny skies and 76. And Clinton looking at mostly sunny skies and 74 degrees.
For more detailed forecasts in your area, tune to your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been our Ag Weather Outlook. And with that, we're at the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all our content online at iowaagnet.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time we put out a video project, including our interviews with gubernatorial candidates here in the state of Iowa, which were posted on Friday. You can also find our free twice daily market podcasts on Amazon, Apple, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Riley Smith and Mark Magnuson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.